Welcome back to the channel. This will be the transfer tips for Gameweek 23 in Fantasy Premier League, and Bruno Fernandes is the most transferred in at this point of the game week, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. Timing is so important in FPL, and I felt that last week when he was highlighted as a purchase, it was a much better fixture against Man City at home compared to Arsenal away. And if you want to buy Bruno Fernandes, my advice is to save this transfer for Gameweek 24. The same goes for Mbeumo and Dorgu, who completed the top three, and both of them scored in that 2-0 victory against Man City. Thiago, Semenyo, Gabriel, Chalobah, Rice, Wirtz and Enzo are in the top 10 most transferred in players, and I'll highlight 11 players in total throughout this podcast to buy, hold, sell and skip. Towards the end as well, I'll talk about the most transferred out players and give my thoughts and opinions on some of those assets too. And we are closing in on a new goal on the channel, 38k subscribers on YouTube. We're a couple away from that new milestone. So if you haven't done so already, like this video, let's get it to over 100 likes overall, and subscribe, hit the notification bell, click the hype button, and check all the links in the description for my Patreon and the championships, fair likes to my videos, proud to part to comments, amongst many other perks. My Discord server, the FPL League and Spotify can also be found in the description. But without further ado, let's jump straight into it. The first purchase I'm going to recommend is Cole Palmer, with Chelsea being top of the FDR for the next 5 game weeks, and I think they are worth investing in for the long run with 1 or 2 assets. Maybe not a triple up just yet because there are a lot of question marks following the appointment of Liam Rosenau, but they have scored 9 goals in 3 matches, and this video is recorded before their Champions League game against Paphos at home. Palmer has 4 goals and 1 assist in the Premier League this season, with many injuries throughout the campaign, particularly with his groin. The XG is 3.61 in a matter of 12 games, and 45 FPL points is quite low by this stage of the season. The ownership is also at a decent sort of rate at 12.2%, so he's not a massive differential, but he certainly isn't template, and if you want to have those massive gains in your mini leagues and the rankings, I think Palmer's effective ownership will definitely be enticing for many FPL managers. His price tag though is 10.4 million, and I do prefer Bruno Fernandes in the long run, so if you had to pick between those two, I think Fernandes is the preference, and I'd make that transfer in Gameweek 24. Palmer's other stats include 23 shots, with 9 of them being on target, 15 shots inside the box, and the XA is only 0.37 with 3 big chances, 0 big chance created, and 7 key passes. I think Enzo Fernandez offers better value in the long run, and you can certainly cover Chelsea offensively with the Argentine going into Gameweek 23 and beyond. But if you have the funds to fit Palmer in alongside Bruno Fernandes and the other midfielders discussed throughout my videos, then I think he's worth buying for the next 5 game weeks. One of those midfielders is Declan Rice, who costs 7.4 million in FPL. I think he offers terrific value, and whilst most people are gravitating towards the Man United assets like Mbeumo and Fernandes in the midfield, I think Rice is going under the radar at this point. His ownership is 24.1% with 4 goals and 7 assists. He picked up a yellow card against Inter Milan in a 3-1 win for Arsenal. They've won all of their Champions League games. They're 7 points clear of the Premier League as well, and they're in a great position across all competitions, and Rice has picked a perfect time to be suspended against Kara Almaty in matchday 8, where he was never going to play that match regardless. He has 10 big chances created in this Premier League campaign with 125 FPL points, which puts him top of all midfielders. And the next 5 fixtures are decent for Arsenal, but there are a few potentially difficult fixtures in there, like Man United at home and Tottenham away. There's also Leeds away, Sunderland at home, and Brentford away in between, but Declan Rice is fixture-proof. He is brilliant from set pieces, he creates chance from open play, he can score the odd goal here and there, and he also provides plenty of defensive contributions with over 150 for this season, 29 shots, 12 on target, 12 shots inside the box. The XG is 2.9 and the XA is healthy at 4.12 with 6 big chances and 37 key passes. So I think Rice is the best Arsenal midfielder and attacking asset overall. And while Bukayo Saka has a higher ceiling and Gabriel will be the most consistent Arsenal asset, I think Declan Rice will be right up there in terms of the best midfielders for this season, and the same goes for the high scoring Arsenal players until the end of the campaign. This may surprise you, but Jurrien Timber is highlighted as a purchase. More so looking at the long term, I'm still quite keen on doubling up on the Arsenal defence, and for many people like myself who have Bukayo Saka, one possible avenue is to move him to Bruno Fernandes in the coming weeks and then buy Jurrien Timber for that 3rd Arsenal spot. He provided an assist for Gabriel Jesus in that 3-1 win against Inter Milan, and Arsenal have won all of the Champions League games, 7 out of 7, and Timber has been a big part of that. In recent Premier League matches, he has played as a left-back, but he offers far more attacking potential on the right, with 21 shots inside the box, which is extremely high for a defender, and that has paid off with 2 goals and 4 assists so far this season, 109 FPL points, but there is no doubt that Gabriel is the standout Arsenal defender, but Timber would be second, and I think he's worth the extra millions over Saliba, Calafuri when he's available. The same goes for Hincapié and Ben White. Timber's ownership is 28.1%. I certainly wouldn't be selling him. He is worth holding on to. The only scenario where I would sell during Timber is to buy Gabriel Magalhaes, and Arsenal can keep several clean sheets over the next 5 game weeks, that's for sure. He has 22 shots for the campaign, only 5 on target. The XG is 3.8, which is identical to Declan Rice from the right-back position and sometimes playing on the left-hand side. The XA is 0.87, so there is a massive overperformance there. But 4 big chances, 2 big chance created, and 20 key passes all point towards sustainable FPL returns. And Duran Timber is decent for defensive contributions, although not as promising or consistent as Gabriel. But I think Timber is worth purchasing, and in terms of timing, you could certainly argue that Game Week 24 would be better, but this is a long-term move for your squad. Morgan Rogers has been very streaky this season with several blanks in a row, and then he produces a 15-pointer, and he's quite fixture-proof too. The next 5 fixtures are mixed bag for Aston Villa, facing Newcastle away, Brentford at home, Bournemouth away, Brighton at home, and Leeds at home, which is one of the teams that Rodgers produced a massive haul against, scoring a brace at Ellen Road. But Rodgers has 7 goals for the season, 4 assists, 7 big chances created, and 103 FPL points. The ownership is 31.9%, and the price tag is 7.7 million, which is identical to Antoine Semenyo, who looks more appealing this week, facing Wolves at home. But I think in the long run, Morgan Rogers is a bit more nailed on in this Aston Villa team, and there is no risk of rotation. He might not be on penalties, but he offers goal and assist potential from open play with 46 shots, 19 on target, and 27 inside the box. The XG is 3.57, and the XA is 2.28, with 3 big chances and 9 big chances created, 26 key passes. That all looks very solid. I think Morgan Rogers is a brilliant FPL option in the long run. There will be some inconsistencies there, and Aston Villa have been very solid so far this season, despite a somewhat tumultuous start where they were struggling to score goals and create chances, and they will have the odd game like the Everton one where they will frustrate you, but Morgan Rogers will still be amongst the highest scoring midfielders in Fantasy Premier League. On Tuesday, Liam Rosenthal provided updates on the Chelsea squad, and one of them was regarding Enzo Fernandez, and he said the following: Enzo trained today, none of those lads are at 100%, it's a bad illness, so we'll make that decision on Enzo tomorrow and what he looks like in terms of style from the bench. But I think Enzo Fernandez will feature in Game Week 23 against Crystal Palace away, and he's worth holding in your FPL teams. With 6 goals and 3 assists in this Premier League season, the XGI, which is the expected goal involvements combining XG and XA, it's 11.68, which is extremely high for a midfielder priced at 6.5 million. His ownership is also 12% at the time of this recording, with 98 FPL points. And after Crystal Palace away, it's West Ham at home, Wolves away, Leeds and Burnley at home. Those are excellent fixtures for Chelsea, and despite facing Arsenal away shortly afterwards, they are still top of the FDR until Game Week 28. Enzo Fernandez also has 41 shots, 18 of them being on target, and 28 shots inside the box. The XG specifically is 7.65, and the XA is 4.03, with 10 big chances, 7 big chances created, and 36 key passes. So the Argentine is a very promising FPL asset, and he offers terrific value in the midfield. And in the long run, I think he would be a better option compared to Cole Palmer when you also factor in how much money he costs. And it also allows you to buy Bruno Fernandes and other midfielders like Antoine Semenyo, Declan Rice, and Morgan Rogers, who I've all highlighted in my recent wildcard videos. So I think Enzo Fernandez is definitely a hold, and if he is available for the Crystal Palace fixture, he might even turn into a purchase very soon. There is no doubt that Patrick Dorgu is the best Man United defender to own in FPL. He's far better than Dalot at this moment in time, and he's playing in a more advanced position. That also means he could be less nailed on, per se, because he can play on both flanks as a left back, right back, and also on the right hand side in a more attacking position. But Patrick Dorgu could also suffer from rotation, which we saw quite often under Ruben Amorim, but his recent performances have made it very difficult for that to happen, with 20 FPL points over the last 2 game weeks. That includes a 15-pointer against Man City, and he's got 2 goals and 3 assists this season, 18 shots and 66 FPL points. The ownership is still quite low at 7.9%, just like his price tag at 4.3 million. After Arsenal away, Man United have promising fixtures against Fulham at home, Tottenham at home, and then 2 away fixtures against West Ham and Everton. In terms of the clean sheet potential, I think 1, possibly 2 is on the cards over the next 5 game weeks, but I think the Man City game was not a fluke or anything like that. United thoroughly deserved the win, but Man City were awful on the day, and we saw a similar performance from the citizens against Bodo Glimt, where they lost 3-1 on Tuesday. Dorgu also has 6 shots on target and 14 shots inside the box. The XG is 1.87, whilst the XA is 1.35. 3 big chances and 4 big chances created are incredible for a budget defender like Dorgu, and 24 key passes caps things off in style. So I think he's definitely worth holding on to, but I wouldn't buy him against Arsenal away. I get it that you might have some injuries and suspensions and you just want that 4th or 5th defender, and I'm not a big fan of having 2 really cheap defenders like Alderete or Mukiele with a Dorgu, but that could still work over the next 5, and I think United are worth covering with Michael Carrick at the helm. Bruno Fernandes should be the priority, and Brian Mbeumo is certainly another great choice, but I think Dorgu would be the complementary second United asset. Despite a promising fixture against Burnley at home on paper, Hugo Ekitike blanked, and he has been in a barren spell recently, and that was immediately after that purple patch he had in December, with 8 goals and 2 assists for this Premier League campaign, 32 shots inside the box and 86 FPL points, but his ownership is dipping. It's currently 26.9%, and the price tag is 8.9 million. I wouldn't be surprised to see that drop once more before the deadline. After Bournemouth away, it's Newcastle at home, Man City at home, and then 2 away fixtures against Sunderland and Nottingham Forest in Game Week 26 and 27 respectively. Ekitike's stats aren't particularly great. I think the shot volume is encouraging with 45 shots. 13 on target though is still on the low side. The XG is 6.31 and the XA is 1.64 with 11 big chances, only 1 big chance created and 12 key passes. But the best Liverpool asset right now is Florian Wirtz when you consider recent form, and he scored in that 1-1 draw against Burnley. And Ekitike is fixture proof. I don't think he's a must sell, but for a lot of people, he'll be the cash cow necessary to buy the likes of Palmer and Bruno Fernandes in the midfield, and I think that sort of downgrade is certainly worth it. Marcus Tavernier is a standout budget midfielder, whilst Garner and Wilson would be my preferences. Tavernier has done a solid job for Bournemouth, offering 5 goals and 3 assists, but he is now injured, and there is an update by Iraola, which I'm going to provide here in this section. So this was the following quote from Iraola after the 1-1 draw against Brighton. He is injured. It is not a big surprise in the sense that Tavernier has had to play everything in this vicious schedule. At the end, he fell his hamstring and he'll be out for some time. So the reports indicate that Tavernier will miss the next couple of weeks, and that is a massive blow for Bournemouth, who just lost Antoine Semenyo, and even Marcus Senesi is linked with a move away. Tavernier also had 43 shots for the season and 94 FPL points. The ownership was also very low at 2.6%, so he's a massive differential, offering very solid value, but he is now a very clear sell, facing the likes of Liverpool at home, Wolves away, Aston Villa at home, Everton and West Ham away. He will likely miss all of those fixtures, and if you want a replacement at a similar price tag, then one of Garner or Wilson would certainly do the trick. You can also use this as an opportunity to make a downgrade elsewhere, and one example would be selling Ekitike up front and then buying a Bruno Fernandes, even Enzo if he's available, Cole Palmer, Declan Rice, Rodgers, and Bruno Guimaraes. These are all players I've mentioned consistently in my recent wildcard and transfers videos, and I think Bruno Guimaraes, who went up in price overnight, is still a solid choice despite Newcastle having some difficult short-term fixtures. In terms of Tavernier's other stats, which are worth bearing in mind for the future when he's available once again, 43 shots is very impressive, 13 on target, and 16 shots inside the box. The XG is 4.98, and the expected assists is 2.58, with 6 big chances, 3 big chances created, and 27 key passes. All of these numbers are far better than Harry Wilson, but the Fulham winger has been offering real consistency when it comes to FPL output, and he has overperformed big time this season. So Tavernier is a quite clear sell, and I would invest more money in the midfield from this point moving forwards, and I think that's where the bulk of the points will be at. Nico O'Reilly was a shining light in Man City's 3-1 loss against Bodo Glimt in matchday 7 of the Champions League, but he played the full 90, and that doesn't bode well for his minutes against Wolves at home. With Reynate Nuri back from the African Cup of Nations, we could see him start and get some minutes and match sharpness into him, and O'Reilly hasn't started the previous 2 Premier League matches. He has 1 goal and 3 assists this season, and he was a consistent starter for Man City early in the campaign with 5 big chances created and 78 FPL points. His ownership is 7.9%, and the price tag could go down. It is currently 5.2 million. And Man City have some mixed fixtures over the next 5. After Wolves is Tottenham and Liverpool away, followed by Fulham and Newcastle at home. So I think O'Reilly will start several of those matches, and I think getting the timing right when selling him is very important, because if he starts against Wolves, a clean sheet will be likely on paper if you look at the clean sheet odds, which I'll be covering in future videos. But I think O'Reilly is going to be a sell in the long run. It's just a question of whether you do it now and run the risk of him maybe not starting against Wolves, or you maybe do it in Gameweek 24, where I think the fixtures will sort of justify his sale anyway, even if he does start those matches. And to be honest with you, I think it's more likely he starts against Tottenham and Liverpool compared to Wolves coming up next. But I do encourage you to leave your thoughts down the comment section below, especially Man City fans or those that watch Man City on a regular basis. But O'Reilly has 16 shots for the campaign, 4 on target, and 12 shots inside the box. The XG is quite healthy for a mid-price defender at 2.06, and the XA is 1.42 with 2 big chances and 15 key passes. But I still think Nico O'Reilly is a sell, and his teammate Mark Gay could be a solid replacement. I would expect him to start most matches in the Premier League, at least until Gvardiol and Ruben Dias are back in a couple of months' time. But I think Arsenal defenders are still the standouts when it comes to premiums, and then it's quite difficult. But Chalobah, with Chelsea's upcoming fixtures, would be more appealing than Nico O'Reilly as well. So there are other options to go to, and they'll all be covered in my best wildcard squad. In Gameweek 22, Chelsea secured a 2-0 victory against Brentford, and Joao Pedro was at the heart of it. He is excellent for bonus points like he showed for Brighton last season. He currently has 17 for the Blues this time round, with 7 goals and 3 assists, 92 FPL points, and his ownership is 26.6%. But remember, back in Gameweek 1, it was pretty much double that, and his ownership rivaled the likes of Erling Haaland in the grand scheme of things. His price tag is also 7.1 million, so he's more accessible right now, but I still think Igor Thiago will be a more prolific goal scorer, and his fixtures aren't particularly great. So for the short term, I think Joao Pedro could work, but I think Igor Thiago will score more points from now until the end of the season. Chelsea's fixtures are well documented for the next 5. They look very impressive, and even against Arsenal away, Joao Pedro is one of the more likely goal scorers for Chelsea. He has 33 shots for the season, 15 on target, and 28 inside the box. The XG is 6.47, and the XA is 1.37, with 11 big chances, 4 big chances created, and 21 key passes. But my favourite Chelsea assets would be Enzo Fernandez and Cole Palmer, and defensively it's between Chalobah and Reece James. Even Robert Sanchez between the sticks is offering good value with 11 points against Brentford last time out. But Joao Pedro could still be a decent short to medium term punt. I wouldn't really mind it, but he is fixture proof anyway, and it wouldn't surprise me to see him return better in the more difficult games coming up after Gameweek 27 compared to this spell where the fixtures aligned so well, and we saw a similar pattern with Brighton last season. So for me, Joao Pedro is a skip, but of course fixtures over form is going to be how some people approach this game, and it's always good to have your own sort of take on FPL and not always follow the crowd when it comes to these transfers. As always, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Are you more of a fixtures or form person? I try to combine both of them, but I think form is so important, and Foden, who's the most transferred up player at this point of the game week, and I don't see that changing as well, by the way. He was so integral to my green arrows over the past 2-3 months, and when he was in that sort of form, I bought him in early and sort of rode the wave quite early on, but it doesn't always work like that. Otherwise, FPL would be too easy. Mark Gay, Saka, Cherki and Rodgers complete the top 5 most transferred out players. Cunha, Voltemada, O'Reilly, Semenyo, Ekitike, Mateus Nunes, who is still ill, Van der Ven, Watkins, Keane, who is suspended for 1 more match, Anthony Gordon, Bruno Guimaraes, Richarlison, Gvardiol, Wilson and Virgil van Dijk complete the top 20 most transferred out players at this point of the game week, and there are even more to discuss in the best wildcard squad and my team selection. Thank you very much for watching this video and listening to this podcast. If you enjoyed it or found insightful, then like this video, subscribe to my channel, and also hit the notification bell so you're always up to date on my content, both FPL and UCL Fantasy. Let's get this video in particular to over 100 likes and closing on new goals like 38k subscribers on YouTube. Follow me on X, Instagram and Blue Sky, Dylan RCM, and check all the links in the description for my Patreon and the championships, fair likes to my videos, proud to comments, amongst many other perks. My Discord server, the FPL League and Spotify can also be found in the description. I'll see you very soon for the best wildcard squad and my team selection, and keep your eyes peeled for Saturday's deadline stream going into Gameweek 23.